Croissants, the symbol of perfection in the pastry industry. Every year, more than 10 billion croissants are consumed worldwide, driving a massive demand in the bakery industry. To meet this demand, croissant production factories must operate on an extremely large scale, with a meticulous production process carefully controlled at every step. But have you ever wondered how these crispy croissants, with their delicate layers that melt in your mouth and soft, fragrant butter, are made? To learn more, we had the opportunity to visit one of the largest croissant production factories in the world, where these famous pastries are made to absolute perfection. Every great croissant begins its journey in vast wheat fields, where farmers not only care for each harvest, but also monitor every change in the soil, weather, and humidity to ensure the highest quality wheat grains. When harvest season arrives, ultra-modern combine harvesters with wide cutting heads and sharp blades begin their work. These machines not only cut the wheat stalks close to the ground, but also bring the entire plant into a rotating system, where the wheat grains are separated from the chaff through a rotating drum and sophisticated mesh filters. After being thoroughly cleaned, the wheat grains are placed into large containers and quickly transported via pipes to trucks for delivery to the factory. The journey of the wheat continues as it's transferred from the fields to the mill, where the next step begins. The wheat is poured onto an underground conveyor system and moved through sorting machines to remove impurities such as stones, sand, and foreign grains. During milling, the wheat grains are crushed by large roller mills, separating the fine white endosperm from the bran and germ. Next, the flour is passed through a sifting system, where machines with different mesh sizes filter out the coarse particles, retaining only the fine flour that meets exacting standards. The entire milling and sifting process is repeated multiple times until the ideal fineness is achieved. After each round of milling, the fine flour is separated, and the coarse particles are sent back through the mill for further processing. When the flour reaches a fineness of 8 to 8.1 mil, it's considered perfect, fine enough to absorb liquids and easily blend into the dough during the subsequent baking stages. When the high-quality flour bags arrive at the factory, they undergo a crucial step: dough mixing. In massive industrial mixers, the ingredients are combined with precision and care. The flour is mixed evenly with milk, salt, sugar, powdered milk, and finally, butter, the key ingredient that gives croissants their distinctive flavor. The reason powdered milk is used instead of fresh milk is that powdered milk has been dehydrated, allowing for better control of the moisture content in the dough mixture. Especially during the summer, cold water is added to maintain the ideal temperature for the dough, ensuring the mixing process goes smoothly without affecting the dough's structure. The mixer operates from low to high speeds over the course of 10 minutes, helping all the ingredients blend together. Initially, the low speed ensures the ingredients combine without clumping, and then the speed gradually increases to form a smooth, elastic dough, ready for the next steps. After the mixing process is complete, the soft and smooth dough enters the next phase of its journey. To ensure cleanliness and prevent the dough from sticking to the conveyor belts, a thin layer of dry flour is evenly dusted over the surface, creating a smooth cushion that allows the dough to move easily and cleanly. Through a modern conveyor system, the dough is gently transported. Next, the dough is fed through a multi-roll sheeting system with a total of 16 continuous rolls. Each roll performs its task of flattening and elongating the dough. The dough is allowed to rest in a warm environment where temperature and humidity are strictly controlled, allowing the yeast to develop and function optimally. Once the initial fermentation is complete, the dough is gently pressed to release excess gas produced during fermentation, preparing it for the important steps that follow. One of the secrets behind the wonderful flavor and distinctive texture of a croissant is the smooth, soft butter layered between the thin sheets of dough. In a special section of the factory, workers begin processing high-quality butter blocks. The factory uses European-style butter with a fat content of up to 83% (beurremont), which is particularly well-suited for this baking process. The large butter blocks are cut into manageable pieces and then placed into a grinder to be softened. This process gently warms the butter to the ideal temperature, making it easy to roll into thin, even layers. Then, the smooth butter sheets are placed directly between the layers of dough, with the edges of the dough folded over to enclose the butter. This is the butter wrapping step, a key phase in the croissant making process, which creates hundreds of alternating layers of dough and butter that form the croissant's unique texture. Evenly distributing the butter within each dough block is crucial so that when baked, the layers will rise evenly, becoming light and airy with a perfect puff. Next, the dough undergoes an important step: folding the layers. Each time the dough is folded and rolled, thin layers of dough and butter stack on top of one another, and after several repetitions, the final dough sheet will have up to 24 thin layers of dough and butter interwoven. These layers create the croissant's signature texture, with a honeycomb-like structure inside and an irresistible, crispy, airy texture when the pastry is baked. Once the layers of dough and butter have been evenly rolled, the dough is allowed to rest and ferment for several hours at a temperature of 55 degrees Fahrenheit. After resting in the cold to stabilize, the dough blocks with their dough layers begin the next step of their journey. They are fed into a sheeting machine to be stretched and thinned out further. With each pass through the rollers, the dough is repeatedly folded and flattened through powerful rollers. Each rolling creates another alternating layer of butter and dough, adding to the signature structure of the croissant. This process is repeated multiple times, with each dough block ultimately containing up to 240 thin, evenly spaced layers, creating that special crisp and airy texture. Once the dough reaches the ideal thickness, the next cutting machine slices the dough sheet into long strips, each about 4 inches wide. This is an important preparation step before the dough is shaped into the perfect croissants. Next, the dough strips are passed through a special roller, where sharp triangular blades cut them into even pieces, each with a perfect shape. The automated system then quickly separates and arranges these triangular pieces in a specific direction, ensuring that the base of each triangle faces forward for easier rolling in the next step. Here, the automatic rolling system begins the process of rolling each piece of dough into the familiar croissant shape. Each piece of dough is tightly rolled from the base to the pointed end, with the rolling force carefully adjusted to maintain the perfect shape while avoiding tearing the delicate layers of dough. This is the critical step that ensures each croissant rises evenly and maintains its beautiful shape. With advanced production line technology, the factory can produce up to 50,000 croissants per hour, maintaining an impressive production speed while ensuring the quality of each product remains unchanged. Thanks to this precision and consistency, every croissant is perfect, both in shape and quality. After being shaped, the croissants continue their journey into the proofing chamber, a special space that is carefully controlled for temperature and humidity. Here, the steam and warm air activate the yeast in the dough, allowing the croissants to double in size. The transformation of moisture from the butter and dough into steam helps separate the layers of dough, creating space for each layer of pastry to rise perfectly. Before being placed in the oven, each croissant is sprayed with a thin layer of glaze. The glaze mixture, usually a combination of milk protein and water, not only gives the croissant a beautiful shiny crust, but also enhances its appeal after baking, creating a perfect and eye-catching appearance. Once all the preparation steps are complete, the croissants are placed in a convection oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Inside the oven, the convection fan system evenly distributes hot air from vents along both sides. With around 200 airflow adjustment points, the temperature inside the oven remains stable from top to bottom, ensuring the croissants bake evenly and perfectly. As the temperature rises, the croissants begin to puff up, creating the signature light, honeycomb-like structure inside. The rich, buttery aroma fills the air, making each croissant a masterpiece that's hard to resist. However, to fully enjoy the flavor of the croissant, the ideal time to indulge is once they've cooled down to room temperature. At this point, the butter has soaked evenly into the dough layers, excess gases have escaped, and the flavor of the croissant reaches its perfect, soft, and delicious peak. Once the croissants have completely cooled, each one is carefully inspected by staff. Those that don't meet the standard are discarded and are usually kept for the workers' meals at the factory. Then, the croissants that meet the quality standards are moved to the packaging area. Here, the croissants are placed on the conveyor, wrapped in a thin cellophane layer, and heat-sealed to preserve their freshness and delicious flavor. In just 1 hour, the factory can package up to 50,000 croissants, ensuring the products are prepared quickly and efficiently. Every week, more than 2 million fragrant croissants leave the factory, ready to be distributed to consumers around the world. The next time you enjoy a croissant, remember that behind the crispy crust and perfect flavor is the hard work and dedication of thousands of workers who tirelessly contribute to the process. Thank you for joining us on this journey to explore how perfect croissants are made. See you in the next videos.